Yeah.
Full room. Good. Your hair's getting
Are we ready to go?
We are ready.
Okay.
Thank you.
The winter.
Cover up some things.
Okay, it's time to call to order the Board of Directors Strategic Planning Workshop for Thursday, October 5th. Have roll call, please.
Director Meyerhoffen,
Present.
Director Duff,
Present.
Director Griffith,
Present.
Vice President Sewell,
Here.
and President Martin.
Here,
Thank you. We have quorum.
okay. Item 4, public input. This is the opportunity for members of the public to address the board on matters within the board's jurisdiction. Please limit comments to 3 minutes or less. State law prohibits the board from discussing or taking action on any item not listed on the agenda. Do we have any members of the public who wish to address the board?
President Martin, we do not.
Okay. Moving on, see how fast we're moving ahead? We're doing great. Moving on to item 5, strategic planning session 1. Brian, you want to kick things off?
No, I'll just hand it over to Katie. As
Okay.
you know, we went through a RFP process where we looked at 3 firms. I'm sorry, 5 firms. We shortlisted 3 and brought those to you. Each of them were well vetted. We had 3 great firms. We decided to go with Woodward and Kern at the board's request. And they are here. They have gone over this presentation with staff at least once, so hopefully we've captured what everyone's intent is. I'm very excited about this. Last time we've done this as a group, it was more driven by the organization, not necessarily the board. So this one is a fantastic opportunity with the new board members, with some of the new staff, to get some new ideas out. Typically, we've had a long list of capital projects, as we can see by the capital budget and operating workshop we have right here, but this is going to be more about vision. Where do we want to take this organization in the coming years? And I think that's why it's so important to get the board's input, because we can do the projects, we know what needs to be fixed, but we need to have the vision of the board so we can successfully navigate the organization. So that's all I have, Katie.
Great, that was a great intro, thank you. So my name's Katie Evans, I'm with Woodard and Kern, as you just heard. Just for background, I have a lot of experience in water in the Coachella Valley. I've been working in water since 2008 in this area. And I'm really excited to be a part of this process. I think strategic planning is a really wonderful way to steer an organization in the direction that you want to go. And especially now with lots of changes happening at Mission Springs, there's no better time to do it than now. So I know for some of you, this might be unusual. I imagine that you're not all used to being in the boardroom during board meetings and participating at this level. So I want to thank you for doing that, for coming out of your comfort zone and joining us here. And I really look forward to your insight. What we're going to be doing today is really focused on the mission, vision, and values of this organization. And of course, the board has ideas of what they want that to be, and we'll look forward to hearing those. But they're just things that no one person in this organization knows everything, right? Everyone's doing different jobs, you have different roles, and we look forward to bringing your insight into this process so that we can make sure that we have a comprehensive mission, vision, and values that make sense for everyone and help drive this organization in the direction that you want to go. Bear with me if you've already heard this story, but it's one of my favorites, so I'm going to repeat it. But you may have heard the story of when JFK visited NASA in the 1960s. So JFK goes strolling into NASA for some presidential tour that I'm sure was very important. And in doing so, he runs into a janitor, or he encounters a janitor, and he asks the janitor, "What do you do here? What's your job?" And he said, "I'm putting a man on the moon." And that was absolutely correct, right? Because if engineers didn't have a place to work and there was no one cleaning the building, nobody would be going to the moon, right? So I tell that story because I just want to reiterate that whatever the mission is of Mission Springs Water District, every single person who's working here and contributing to it is a part of that mission. No matter what role you have, that's where you fit in. Everybody's building the mission. So as we work through mission, vision, and values today, I hope you'll keep that story in mind and think about what your contributions mean to the organization. I am going to introduce Hector, but I wanted to get that story out first. So sorry, Hector. I don't think you can't see the presentation. So just, using your screen, let's just quickly go through the agenda. Here's our plan for today. We're going to do some introductions. I assume not everyone in this room knows each other, so we're going to take a minute to do some introductions. Then we're going to talk about a strategic plan. What is it? What does it mean? How can it be used? How could it be useful to you in your role? And then we'll start really digging in on the vision, mission, and values of Mission Springs. So you already have those, they exist, but they existed before you. So this is our opportunity to really think about, do those things still make sense today? If they do, that's wonderful. We can reiterate that. We can all recommit to them. If they don't, maybe we make some changes, and that's our opportunity to have that discussion today and potentially really revisit how those values are set. This is the foundation of the strategic plan. So if you're not familiar with strategic plans, there end up being goals in them, and there's all kinds of objectives that you're working towards. But the foundation, the fundamental part of this is that we all have to be working towards the same mission, vision, and values. Every goal, every objective, everything we do from here has to all be pointed to those things. So today's our day to make sure we really get those nailed down. That could happen really fast. It could take the whole time. So what we're going to do after that really depends on how much time we spend on those three things. Our next step after this will be called a SWOT analysis. Maybe some of you have already done those, maybe you haven't. If time allows today, we might get started on that. If it doesn't, we'll save it for workshop 2 and we'll work on it at that time. So that's kind of our plan. That's where we're going from here. So our first step is introductions. I introduced myself. I'm going to have Hector go next, and then we'll make our way around the table. So what I'm hoping that you'll say when it's your turn is your name, what your role is at Mission Springs, and then what you hope to get out of the process. I understand that for some of you, what I just said was the first thing you ever heard about the process, but if you have any insight or thoughts on what you think you might be able to get out of what we're doing here, we'd love to hear about that. So Hector.
Thanks, Katie, and thanks for having us here. So glad you guys picked us. This is going to be an exciting process. I've done these many times in the past, small scale, large planning efforts involving multiple municipalities and stakeholders and politicians. And it's always challenging, it's always fun, and we always end up with something that's of value to the organization. So I'm thrilled to be part of this, and thank you again for selecting us. I also coach executives on leadership. And the reason I do that is because I get to meet new people every day and learn about their challenges, their aspirations, their goals, strategies, and actions to implement. Sounds like a strategic plan, which is exactly that's what it is. So that's it about me. Happy to be here. I'm going to be facilitating part of the process, and like Katie said, we may move through this fast, we may move through this slow. However, your input, everybody's input is really critical. The NASA story is phenomenal. I have a similar story, but not at NASA. I just wanted to share, I used to lead a design team at LA County Public Works, and we had engineers, technical people, administrative staff, student workers, interns, and and we had the engineers were on their monitors drawing these lines, and then, well, what do those lines mean? And so those lines eventually turn into set of plans. It turns into a project that's going to get constructed. It turns into that project gets constructed. It's going to have a huge impact on the community. Okay, and so that there was that connection to the big picture. But then what about our administrative staff? What's their role, and how do they impact that ultimate project? Well, without them processing the timesheets, the memos, the communications, nothing on the floor would happen. So everybody has a key role, a very important piece that ultimately ends up with something that gets built and has an impact. So we're going to build up here a strategic plan that ultimately will help your organization move into the future and drive your decision-making process and your aspirations.
Great, thank you. Okay, you want to kick off our introductions?
Do we have time after that? Any great achievements in history, you have to have a plan moving forward. And whether it's storming the beaches at Normandy or providing water and wastewater services to our community, we have to have a plan moving forward. And I'm glad that that's what I'm expecting is having a plan moving forward, providing the best service to our community. By the way, my name is Russ Martin, I'm president of the board, so that's all.
Thank you.
Ted Merrill, Director of the Board here. JFK also said, some men see things as they are and say, why? I dream of things that never were and say, why not? So I'm looking way down the road here into the future, and I hope we can get a direction that we all want to go in.
Thank you. Cynthia, I'm gonna make you introduce yourself because I know you're taking notes.
My name is Cynthia. I am a HR and engineering office specialist. I'm taking notes for today. I'm not quite sure what I would like my role in. I've only been here a year, so I'm kind of learning. But I look forward to serving the community as everyone else is.
Great, thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Eric Weck. I'm the engineering manager here at MSWD. I'd like to be able to see how we're going to plan for the future with the staff that we have, and possibly look at ways of adjusting our processes to be more efficient, to use our staff more efficiently if that's possible.
Great, thanks.
Good afternoon. My name is Oriana Hoffer. I am the Human Resources Manager. I am looking forward to hearing the diverse views in regards to our mission, vision, and values today, and see if we can refine them or change them.
Great, thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ana Murillo. I'm an accounting technician. And
Now, MSWD is having their meeting about
Okay.
The Zoom, somebody on the Zoom is talking.
So Mr. Grushin.
okay, well, I guess optimize the use of technology and innovation.
Great.
The process and the system that we're using.
Great, thank you.
I'm Adam Wagner, product production operator. As far as one of my goal here is to be able to participate and be able to have an influence and a positive impact on our future, and be able to see what everybody's ideas are on a positive impact for our future.
Great, thank you.
I'm Alex Nine, I'm the lead for facilities maintenance technician in Mission Springs Water District. I'm here to, as well as everybody else, observe and see what we have out now versus what we can do to improve and go forward with our core values, as well as practicing myself and actually use them in personal life as well.
Great.
Ivan Sewell, Vice President of the board. Ultimately, I'd like our plan to help us serve our customers as best as we can and be a good environment for all of our employees. Being a board member, I'm only here 4 or 5 hours a month maybe. So I really hope that these meetings can get staff's input. You guys have a lot better idea of what's going on the day-to-day and how we can improve to just become the best we can be.
I'm Kirk Etnacker, IT manager, and yeah, I connect with a lot of them here to see what we can do to help technology make us more efficient and do more for the city and support our core values.
Brian Macy, interim general manager. My purpose here is really to listen. I want to hear what everybody in this room wants and sees this organization moving toward. From my perspective, we're in a unique position. We have the opportunity with the people in this room, some of the people that are in this room, to move this organization in a way that has never been done before. For example, for those of you that don't know, our director Griffith absolutely killed it in front of the state regional board yesterday, or excuse me, the state water board yesterday, to the point where we got some great feedback and interaction with the board during the meeting, which no one other than one other person even had anybody raise their eyes about. So that's the kind of dynamic people we have at our board level and our staff level. And that's why this is so important, why I wanted to do this as soon as we could, because it is going to be the vision of how we move forward. Thank you.
I'm Amber Duff, also a director on the board, and I'm new. So coming in,
I kept asking for, where's the plan? And there was one that had sat on a bookshelf, right? And so we've been fairly disconnected as a board. You know, there's been previous members that had that idea of where they were going, and then there's new board members that never had a say. So it's exciting to me for us to find a way where all of our ideas can come together into one general forward-moving propulsion. And again, trying to find ways of efficiency, ways to best serve our community with the talent that we have, some of which may need more opportunities to shine, and we want to find ways we can do that. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Arturo Ceja. I'm the Director of Finance. I'm very excited to be able to continue to help our customers. There's a lot that we can continue to do. So what I'm actually looking forward for the strategic plan is those specific policies and steps that I can use on my daily work to be able to make those decisions without having to, any roadblocks to keep helping our customers. So one of the things that you said at the presentation that I absolutely loved and nobody else said was you were going to make your plan actionable, something we could actually use and that's gonna guide us to, every day, as opposed to it's gonna sit on the shelf. We have the steps to do it, and here's what the strategy is to make that happen. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
Good afternoon, Danny Friend, Director of Operations. I've been involved in a few of our strategic plans in the past, and I'd like to see this go more from a task-driven type list to, as the interim general manager Macy opened up with that vision. We're moving fast, and a lot of us don't know what the correction that is. So I'd like to see us have that vision. So in the next 5 years, 10 years, understand so we're in the right spot at that time. And then one of the unique things, and I can really appreciate, is opening this up to the different staff levels that are here today. And that's something that we've never done in the history of the district. So I'm not sure who exactly was responsible for that, but it's good to see.
Hi, I'm Marion Champion, Government Public Affairs Manager. I think we have, in the last 2 years, I've learned a lot about the district and a lot about our history. And even just in the last 12 months, we've had a lot of wins and we've done a lot of positive things. But I really want to hear and see what that vision is so that when we take this to the next level, that we're all moving in the same direction with the same goals in mind. And I'm really hoping that together we'll be able to create a plan and a framework that really kind of lays out my work so that I'm doing something that everyone around this table and everyone that's an employee at MSWD can feel proud of and really support it in their everyday actions as well.
My name is David Peña. I work for a field service representative in Mission Springs. And my vision is for all of us together to make this place a great place to work as it is, but I know it could be better. And for our customers to make their experience when they deal with us, that we're in good attitudes where we can treat them better than what they expected. That's Mission Springs.
Hi, I'm a customer service representative. What I'd like to get out of this is to streamline our policies and procedures and make a better customer experience for our customers.
I'm Chris Jacobson. I'm in the wastewater department. Been there a couple of years now. I've learned quite a bit. And I want to continue learning. I'm hoping that part of this process, I'll learn some things and be exposed to some things I've never been exposed to. And I think part of my vision, or what I like to get out of this is I'm part of the first line of defense protecting our water. And I like to continue doing that. I like to see that happen and the sustainability of it with reclaimed water in the future. I think we should put that on there.
My name is Robert Griffith. I am a director on the board. So full disclosure, typically wherever I go, I'm somewhat of a change agent. Because I take a look at stuff and I see what needs to be done. I'm gonna badmouth us to some degree. I think we are somewhat of an antiquated or archaic organization in terms of our processes. And what I would like to get out of this is to kind of have, not necessarily a roadmap, but a vision is this is our destination. And the destination is I want to see an organization that is more efficient, uses technology to enhance everybody's jobs, as well as the customer experience. I think what I want to see at the end is an organization that is more efficient, customer driven, accountable and transparent, so that people really do have the trust.
Great, thank you. Thank you all. That was really helpful and insightful. I do want to add one more thing about Hector and I that neither one of us said. We're consultants, but we weren't. So prior to both of us, prior to coming to Woodard and Kern, we worked as agency staff. So we have been in your shoes. I've never been a director, but we've been staff. And so we've been in this place where we need to facilitate and work you through this exercise. But we've also been on the other side where the plan is done and handed to us and said, go execute that. So, as you move through this, if you have questions or concerns, or you're not sure where something fits, we should really know this process inside and out by now, having gone through what we both did. So I just wanted to add that to our introductions. So again, thanks for introducing yourselves. Thanks for sharing that. And now Hector, you're going to take us through rules of engagement.
Yes, okay. A little bit more about my role here before we get into the nitty gritty. I'm going to be asking a lot of questions, and I'm going to be facilitating most of the process or some of the process. And I'm going to make sure that everybody has a voice, everybody speaks, and we hear all opinions, thoughts, and ideas. And we're maybe a little bit shy, a little bit, help you come out a little bit and share what are you thinking about. Now, with that in mind, who's a little nervous about being here? Okay, good. I'm so glad somebody answered, because I'm going to start with me, because I am a little nervous being here. This is new people. You don't know me. This is a new process. Last time you went through this was several years ago. So yeah, there's nervousness, there's a little bit of excitement, a little bit of anxiety, and this is totally normal. So just take a deep breath in your nose and just kind of just let it go. We're going to be okay. This is hopefully this will be fun. Okay, all right, rules of engagement. Now, first question for all of you: who's not going to participate? Awesome. No hands went up. Okay, very good. Participation is critical. You heard what people want out of this process, what they want out of the vision, all the different ideas. So participation is critical. So we hear your voice, we take those notes down, and then we come up with some great goals and strategies. And ask questions of each other. Okay, go ahead and challenge each other. If you're not sure about what somebody is saying, ask. Can you please clarify? Can you add more? Or challenge their opinions, because we may have that. We have a change agent here, which I'm sure is going to be challenging all of you. So please do that. It's okay to do that. And I know the dynamics may be a little different here because we have the board of directors and staff, so it's kind of a little different. But this is an amazing opportunity that all voices are heard that actually drive the district, that actually move it forward from front line all the way to the top. Okay, all right. And it's okay having conflicting ideas and opinions. Totally okay. It's actually very healthy to do that. And that's part of the process, because then we can get a lot of things out forward. And then ultimately we have to come to some type of agreement. And so that's very important. So now, is everybody gonna agree to everything 100%? That'll be amazing, but it may not happen. So we may have to, some of you say, hey, okay, that may not be exactly what I want, but I'm willing to move forward because there's a bigger vision, bigger mission that we have to establish. Any questions on the rules? Anybody? Okay, awesome. And I'm looking at my phone because I have the slides there also, so it helps me. Okay, so why go through all of this? Why do a strategic plan? And I know you guys got a cheat sheet ahead of time. So who wants to start? Why go through this process?
Failed plan to fail.
Okay. What else? Yes.
It's our one way of communicating with the organization as a board, what we want to see happening in the future and the direction in which we want to go.
Okay. long-term, what else? Yes, sir.
Just moving forward with just the world in general, you can't stay stagnant, you have to change and adapt and move with the world and society as well.
Change of that, fantastic. Anybody else on this side over here?
You don't have to guess what the board is thinking and where they wanna lead us. Now we know what they want us to, what it looks like for them. So now we can actually focus on that work as opposed to doing something else that's completely off. And
Okay, excellent. Who else?
What Alex was saying is, the world is changing out there, but so is technology. And we can improve what we're doing through technology.
Fantastic.
I hope to better understand what's working and what's not working so we can make those adjustments.
Anybody else who's gonna be a little brave?
Come on, Aaron.
Well, planning, at the end, that's the main reason why we doing this, I think, is to have a plan in place. for the future.
Good. One more,
Plan our future.
find our future. Okay, all those answers are correct. It's, you need to have something out there to go for, to reach. And then the how to get there. So that's part of the process we're gonna go through. So what do you guys want out of this? Ultimately, and I'm gonna kind of go through all these questions real quick. What do you want out of this? What is the outcome? What is it that you want at the end? And this is, it may sound like a weird question, but what would the plan look like?
Yeah, we want to plan how we're gonna, and in that plan, I want to know how we're gonna get there. And what the financial part of it is to carry us there.
Okay. Who else? Our IT guy is smiling over here.
Me?
No, yeah, two guy.
So, what would the plan look like? I guess we would be looking at just kind of like a direction, a central unifying direction. And then all the steps that are dependent on other steps that we need to get there along the way. And then we use that to guide all the other objectives that we have as an organization.
Very good.
I think we should ask Danny, right? You said that in the past, you've seen them be task oriented and you see this being more vision oriented. So how would you define those two or separate them?
The past strategic plans have been task driven. This one has as well, the current one. But it also is what developed our current mission, vision, and values. We've never had written values. We've always had them in blind values. We've had, I believe they're practical. I believe also that not everybody, because it was connected with so many tasks, it just kind of got shelved and we never revisited it from that perspective. So it tends to allow people to bring in their own values and their own direction. It's not really, it doesn't really work for the district. I've used it in the past with conversations just at management levels. You can't be going across the ocean in the USS MSWD and have another ship right next to you, USS, put your name here, trying to have dual goals. They don't have a common goal. So I look forward to have something like that that's practical and it's welcoming for everybody.
Okay. So you mentioned being implementable, that's really critical, and that it's not a bunch of papers that get stapled or put in a notebook somewhere, and then 5 years later, hey, it's time to do another one. At least from my perspective, working in the public sector, it's really critical that it's visionary enough, but also there's enough information in there that I know what to do next and what are the decisions that need to be made and how to make those decisions. All right, so let's keep going.
Hector, and hopefully it's for everyone, not just certain people in the organization, because all of us can be leaders regardless of what job you have. So we know a lot of people, working in different departments, that you go and ask them. A lot of the times, the leader in that department is not necessarily the manager of that department. So that's very important for all of us to know the impact that we can have.
That is a perfect segue into the next questions. Okay, so how can you use this plan? So it's the board of directors, the staff, the community, how are you gonna use it? Anybody here, on a daily basis?
It's a game plan, it's a guide for everybody in this room to follow along and complete those objectives together as a team.
Okay, and then as a board member, how are you going to look at that plan when there's things you need to decide on?
So we'll know what needs to be done when we look at the plan. That's what the plan's for. So, and then we can make a decision, is that plan still apply to today and the project that we're looking at the time?
Very good.
I look at it part of, as a guide, so as you're going through your, yes, it's gonna be task oriented and this is where we wanna go, but as you're doing things, and even in regular everyday work, you sit and say, you know, is there a more efficient way of doing this? Is there something that I could do that would make the customer's experience a little bit better? So you look at these things like customer focused. When we look at our tasks, resiliency, is this something that's gonna make us more resilient or less resilient? So you use those as kind of your decision-making clues as to how can I make the best decision? Is it for the customer, or is it for efficiency, or is it for this? And then if it doesn't meet those, then you know that that's not really a priority. These are other priorities.
Very good. Chris, I think you had a comment on.
Oh, I got a bunch in my head. I'm just thinking, like, does the board already have goals laid out that they want to achieve?
I think that each of us in our own minds have an idea, but with all of the restrictions and us being able to openly discuss all of those ideas with each other, this is an opportunity for us to get all of those internal thoughts out and share them with everyone so that we can see how many of them are alike, how many of us have the same priorities, what are those priorities, why do they matter to us, and have that kind of open conversation. Because we really don't have the ability to do that with the Brown Act and with all the other restrictions on us.
Because, I mean, the strategic plan is to get your goals, you know, you have them, and then you want to accomplish them, and then make them accomplishable in a time frame. And then our core values, are they just, like some people have said it, are they the same now as they were in 1953 when this district was formed? And are they gonna be, you know, the same values we're gonna have in 25 years? Like,
Big picture.
Yeah.
So that's a great segue into what we're doing. As far as, you know, what your question is, and I do want to bring this up, and I want to kind of talk through the process, right? Because it would be very easy to just come up with a list of tasks and say, board, what tasks do you want us to get done and by what date, right? This process is an iterative process that starts, I mean, you can tell today, right? We're talking about big picture goals and visions and ideas and thoughts and outcomes. As we move through the process, we'll get narrower and narrower and narrower and narrower into the plan and what it means. So if you want to talk through that, sorry, I jumped in.
No, please jump in. So I just wanted, well, Chris, your question was really important. And it says, does the board have goals? Well, hopefully when we're done with this process, this will be the goals of the district. It's everybody's goals. And whatever strategies and actions come out of that, it's everybody's. And then it applies to the community also, because you're gonna have an impact on the community ultimately. So this is something that belongs to all of you. That it's a tool that it can drive your decisions on a daily basis. Okay, the process, 4 workshops. Today's the first, vision, mission, values. And then, as Katie said, if there's time, we'll start in the SWOT and strength, weakness, opportunities, threat, exercise. That may be new to some of you, but we'll go over that. And then once we have some drafts, some ideas of the things coming together, we're gonna go to all the employees and say, hey, is this what's there so far? Are we heading in the right direction? Is this making sense for everybody? And then based on all the input, then we'll finalize it and you'll have a plan So that's the process.
And I think it's really important, a lot of people said here today that they are glad to see employees being a part of the process. And so you in this room are representatives of a lot of different divisions and departments, and we are looking to you to help us. But we also will have an opportunity to present this to all of the staff. And the intention of that is to have a workshop where we say, this is what we're doing, this is the direction we're moving. In case some staff member needs to say, hey, that won't work because, you know, I do X, Y, Z and that's impossible. So that's is really to help us get through that, and we'll eventually have that opportunity to work with all staff. So again, we're broad today, we're gonna get narrower and narrower, and by the time this plan is done, we're gonna have something that is implementable, that is actionable, that you can take and know that what you're doing and the decisions you're making and the tasks you're taking every day are aligned with your board and the rest of your organization. So.
Excellent. Great. Thanks, Katie. Okay, so let's just stay here with the slide first. Okay, that's it. Oh, no, with the vision slide.
Oh.
Okay.
Maybe I should give you this, huh?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm holding this. All right, without looking at your sheets, without looking down, who can tell me your vision statement?
To provide and protect our most valuable resource, water.
Provide, protect, and preserve.
And protect.
There's not a vision.
Oh, that's
Not
right.
the mission.
Not the mission.
Good job.
You'll get a chance to answer
Those
again.
are the values.
The values,
The vision is long.
the vision, okay, who can say it?
Good read.
Okay. All right, so now, is that okay?
No.
What about the rest of the team that's out there working, doing stuff? Do they know it? The vision? No. So here's an opportunity to come up with something that, again, is visionary and that we all can talk about. So now, yes.
Yes, go.
Okay.
Oh.
Let's go.
Okay.
All right, this is your existing vision statement, and you have it in front of you. And there's various statements. MSWD is a leader and innovator in the water industry. Employees are highly qualified, innovative, continuously functioning, maintains a culture of responsibility while providing the highest level of customer service. MSWD has the foresight to anticipate the future, it's adaptable. Okay, so now, those are fantastic, but let me ask you a question. Of these, what are you not doing now?
The last one.
Some of them are doing close to 100%, and other ones are lagging on.
Okay, close to 100%, good. What else?
I don't know that we provide the highest levels of customer service. I don't know that we actually have been anticipating the future. And I don't know that we're necessarily adaptable and resilient at this point.
How close do you think you are? What do you think?
Probably maybe halfway there.
Halfway there, okay. So you're halfway there with your vision, okay. Who else? Answer the last question. How close are we to achieving the vision? Alex, you're thinking there.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how much fuel's in the tank.
I think it's a testament, sorry for interrupting.
No, you're
But I
fine.
think it's a testament that no one in this room was able to recite those.
Okay, all right, so,
Sorry for interrupting.
You're okay, no worries.
no fault of yours.
It's like, no.
It's-
Yeah.
I saw his face, he was happy.
It's quite remarkable, I would say, a huge percentage of organizations, public or private, they cannot repeat their vision and mission statement. They really can't, and that's really sad. It really is sad, because then if you know where you're going, oh, it's written somewhere. Okay, what do we actually do? Well, I don't, water, that's what we do, So this is an opportunity to really think about your vision, where you want to go. So let's see, what's the next slide?
I got a comment on the vision statement.
Yes.
So for this, I actually don't know the answers to a lot of these. Like I read these and it says, is Mission Springs a leader in innovation? Is Mission Springs? So these are all, they turn the questions for me. So hopefully by going through all this, we'll learn where we are.
Great, where we are and where you want to go.
Well, and hopefully this will be our normal process of ensuring that you're aware of what we're doing as a district that actually is making those things happen. Because we might, but if we're not communicating them to you, that's a problem.
That's a great point. That's a great point. There could be all kinds of innovations happening in specific departments that are siloed from each other, and this is a great opportunity to bring those forward.
So when you think about, you know, the goals that you want to come up with, the strategies, and you have all these priority projects and capital improvement how do all those things help you achieve your vision? All right, so now, here's some questions to think about. They went away?
Yeah, well, you have them on your slide, but we lost them.
Okay, we're gonna work on a new vision statement. And I say, and I didn't say the plural, but it could be multiple. My suggestion is to keep it as simple as possible, so anybody can say it at any time. And anybody can repeat it. Yes, sir.
I can tell you what I keep in my mind all the time.
Yes.
Every time I go out there every day, I keep in my mind that I'm there to provide clean aesthetically pleasing water, that I'm there to provide it at a reasonable cost, and I'm there to provide it on demand. Those are my 3 Ps, those are the primary, those are what I have locked in my head all the time.
Fantastic. Okay, very good. Okay, so now, this is, in coming up with a vision statement, look at this question. What do you want to become? And then, let's kind of change it, not in terms of an organization, just think about yourself as an individual. What do you want to become? And then what's the time frame? Well, usually strategic plans, I don't know why it's a 5-year time frame, but that's what it is. What do you want to become in 5 years from now? You know, who is the district? What do you do? What is success? What does it mean 5 years down the line? What does that mean? And what changes you want to bring aboard? It's like, okay, think about, you know, athletes, they do a lot of visioning and, you know, just pick a marathon runner, you know, this person, he or she sees himself at the finish line. You know, they're just started the race, but they see themselves at the finish line, crossing the line. They can smell it, they can hear the crowd, they can feel the dirt or track is gonna be, the temperature, the air. They can actually see that in their head and see themselves crossing that line. So you see, look at the district kind of in the same way. You're running this race, you're gonna get to somewhere in some time frame. What is that? And how would you describe it? And from that, you can derive a vision. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody, any questions on that? Okay, so Katie's gonna take some notes.
I mean, I'm trying. So I had this plan that I was gonna actually live edit as you provide feedback, but I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to
You
do
have to
that.
escape out of the presentation mode and then try it.
So what we'd like to do here is just capture ideas, okay? It's not, let's finalize it. Let's just capture some ideas. And it could be a single word, it could be multiple sentences. Let's just capture some ideas and then those will get refined. And again, it could be as simple as one statement or multiple statements as you have now.
Sustainable?
Sustainable. What do you mean sustainable?
Being able to keep running with the major projects we have to maintain to keep water flowing for our customers and collecting the wastewater while maintaining fiscal responsibility, not only to the district, but to the customers.
Excellent. Okay.
When I hear sustainable, I think our groundwater and keeping that available, like not depleting it and then putting more back into it.
Agree. Protecting it. Our town was kind of founded on that beautiful water, right? What we're all here, what the whole place started for. And we should be able to capture that somehow.
Okay, so try to think what you're doing now, but what you want to be doing. Who out there? Think about crossing that finish line. You just, okay, this side of the table, how's it going over here? Any thoughts?
So from my perspective, and there is a piece that is part of our current vision, which is I would like to support highly qualified employees. So I would like the district to invest in the employees to continue learning and being qualified.
Thank you.
Yeah, how do I phrase this without insulting anybody? I think we're already moving, a lot of those issues. You mentioned protecting the water, that's already in our mission statement. And I have a tendency, when I look at our organization, to base my opinion by comparing it to how other agencies and things are running it. And of all the agencies that I belong to, and I belong to quite a few, I'm on the board, the Tribal Water Authority Board and Countywide Oversight Board and all these different boards and everything. I think that we have some of the best personnel that are doing tremendous work here. And I disagree with one of my other board members who's referred to us as antiquated. I think that's an insult. And I think that you all deserve better than that title of being antiquated in what you're providing. So a lot of the things that we want to accomplish pursuant to this process, I believe we're already doing. So anyway, that's my thoughts.
Can I just say something? When I said antiquated, I wasn't talking about these guys, because they're much younger than me. I was talking about some of our processes which are still paper.
Yes.
Time such as timekeeping and things like that, that is antiquated. And so my statement wasn't towards the employees as much as a lot of our processes.
Yes, sir.
I think that we're just, all of our plans are way out of date. And I think we're kind of in the stone ages on that one, the ball has been dropped and all that. But as far as my vision in that, I'd like to see Mission Springs Water District become the most environmentally friendly water district in the Coachella Valley.
Most environmentally friendly water district in Coachella Valley.
Yes, sir.
Right. How does that sound? Because that's visionary.
What's it mean?
Well, good question. What does it mean? That's good.
You're already doing some of it.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, yeah,
Because we're already doing.
We're protecting the water, that is environmental.
Yeah.
But that means, you know, it's build our new critical service center under the new LEED green standards, so that'll be an environmentally friendly building. There's already another water agency that's doing it, saving 30% on their utility cost. Let's get our sludge, let's quit having it hauled off, so let's get some dryers and turn that into compost. So those are the type of things that I'm looking at.
All right, so challenge, yes.
You know, I'm gonna say it, I used to work for somebody that liked to do these types of things as a check the box. I think that checking the box is the actual needed practice and different processes here at the district to ensure that you don't miss anything. But as far as big things like that, checking the boxes and we've done it, okay, it's great. And, you know, I'd like to actually become, although it might be lengthy and wordy, I'd actually like to become the leader and innovative water agency in the valley. That would probably answer a lot of the directions that a lot of people are talking about wanting to be.
So I'm gonna ask you your question. What does that mean?
What does that mean? That we keep this in the forefront, that we look at it. We just don't put posters on the wall and talk about it and say it's done and check the box and move on to the next big thing. And then when things kind of go sideways, we bring it back up.
All right, so we have a lot of different ideas here. Can somebody kind of summarize these and kind of put all this sustainability, innovation, all this, the different ideas can you put them in 1 or 2 sentences? Can somebody do that?
Efficient excellence.
Oh, I'm sorry, what's that?
Efficient excellence.
Efficient excellence.
I have another idea, so it's not worth consolidating. I think our customer satisfaction and their understanding of our value is very important. And to be the leader or innovator, who is really gonna be judging us on that? I'd hope it was outside of our organization, so it'd be our customers. I think there's a large chunk of our customers that don't understand the value of what we provide.
Well, and to piggyback off of that, the trust and experience with the customers, gaining back their trust after our meter failure. And then making sure that they're satisfied with how we are treating them and making sure they understand how everything works.
Okay. So there's a lot of different ideas, but they're all good ideas. So we have the people perspective, the customers, technology, process, efficient. Okay, how do we capture those, kind of bring those a little closer together, not necessarily into one sentence, but maybe just a few sentences.
Can I just draw on Lisa's comment just a little bit more? I think that this is something I know Director Griffith and I have talked about. I've talked about it with Brian and with Marion. Rebuilding our customers' trust in us has to be one of our most important tasks. After the failure that we had, after some other bad publicity that occurred over the last 5 years or 6 years or so, it's important that we find ways to prove to them that we truly are leaders and that we are doing the job that we say we're doing, and finding ways to help them understand who we are. And I don't know how to put this down into some sort of vision, but what you said is very important. We have to find a way to unifiedly, with that vision, regain customer trust. And the transparency required to do that is gonna be a big part of our vision.
And what I see is us building, I would love to see us build some sort of customer-centric organization that puts our customers at the center of everything we do. And then ultimately, I would like us to see that, to have a presence in the community, that we are known as a well-run organization. And that's something that then all of us as employees can go out and be proud of. You know, not feel like we have to go out there and be defensive of the agency's actions, but, you know, we can be proud of what our agency is doing.
I think some of it has to start with the board of directors themselves. What is how are our customers perceiving us as when we're up there at the dais? When we're out in the public, are we not answering the questions for them? We're just referring them off to the, and this one used to really get me before I became a board member. I'd ask other board members a question and they would refer me to the engineer. Now, since I've been a board director, I understand that why, but at the same time, I should be saying, yeah, let me find out that question for you, and then give them a little bit of an insight, so they don't think I'm leaving them alone, and then refer them, have the engineer follow up on it. So a lot of it has to do with us directors providing that insight.
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody, I mean, it's for being on the field and running to, you know, customer or our techs, our operators, and you out there also, somebody approaches you, you know, you gotta be able to, you know, be able to communicate these ideas, or at least where's the answer, and help them get this answer.
So.
I'm sorry,
So I just wrote something here, is that what do you want to become? And I just wrote a premier provider of water and water services in the Coachella Valley, just as kind of a thing in my head. Because I do think that we do a good job. We don't always do a good job communicating or responding, but based on some things I have seen in other agencies, I do think that we are up there, and I think we can do better, and we can take that title.
So let's try this out. We can start with that statement as the high on top, and underneath that, we can list a few things like customer service, processes.
I wrote one down, it's pretty basic, because it just really just takes a bit, but like green innovative efficiency, like just kind of make it short and sweet.
Okay. What do you guys think?
I like it.
Okay, let's put this down.
Go green.
We're gonna put these down, and then they're gonna have to be refined, obviously.
Yeah.
But at least we start with a high level, we're gonna put definitely yours in there, a high level, and then underneath those, maybe some categories, and then we'll send that to all of you to look at it and refine that. Would that work? Yes, sir.
I don't necessarily like the bullet points. I think it just gets more complicated, like how we have a 4 bullet point vision statements now. I'd like it to be something short like that, or like what Robert said, where it's kind of easy to remember.
So less
That's
is
an
more.
interesting idea. Did you all hear that? What I said? An acronym?
Or then you can just have it in mind.
Yeah.
make it easier to remember.
You'd remember it.
I still remember from elementary school. So it's clear.
We all do.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted somebody down this side. Okay.
So Katie, what do we have for
Yeah.
our big ones?
So there's a couple big things here. So people, both employees and customers. People came up as a theme here in many of these. Innovation came up, and I think innovation comes up whether you believe we're already innovative leaders or not. I think there's no one who doesn't believe that innovation has to continue because technology continues to move forward. And then there's this kind of theme of environmentalism, sustainability that kind of fits together. There's like several different pieces of it. So maybe those are the three things that come together, right? We have high quality employees. We are customer centric and we're building customer trust and public trust. And in doing so, we're protecting the environment or protecting our water supplies, and our wastewater supplies are being managed well. And then I just lost my fourth one. Innovation in an innovative way. Thank you. So, I think we could write a statement like that. We could also maybe come up with some sort of acronym that hits on those things, but I think it's
What
two,
about satisfaction?
yeah.
Satisfaction.
Just-
Satisfy the customer needs at the same time. Employees as well.
At the same time, we do what?
Employees as well.
Yeah, I think I would ask this question, maybe this is a little touchy, but how's the trust with employees? Employees trusting each other?
It varies.
It varies, okay. So I
Depends on
think,
who you're talking with.
okay, great. So I think trust maybe is a theme, right? So, and maybe trust can be woven through everything we just said, right? We want to build the trust with our customers that we're providing them the right service. We want to build the trust with our employees that they have a high quality place to work and that their high quality skills are being used appropriately. We want to have, we want people to trust us that we're managing the environment well and taking care of sustainability. And we want to trust each other that we're going to continue to innovate. So maybe trust is the whole thing.
A trusted resource for our community.
Oh, I like that.
That's why we brought in a consultant.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a good start here. What do you think, Katie? We got
I
something?
like it. I like it. I almost feel like it's even, just to take the acronym thing further, I feel like it's almost a graphic, right? Like trust, and then here's like the 4 or 5 things that trust means. I think that kind of idea, this is a vision statement, right? Let's make it visual. The vision of all these different things all contributing to trust maybe is the bottom line.
I wrote investing in our employees and our community.
I like that too.
I think the top of my list that when we do come up with a finalized version, it should be protect should be first.
And what do you mean protect?
Well, we're here to protect not only our water, we're here to protect our community. So, and by, protecting our own groundwater with wastewater treatment, removing septic tanks, and just the treatment that like Adam provides, by going out there and testing things. So we're protecting our public.
What you all did during Hillary was a prime example of that. Going out and doing what you could during the storm when no one else could make it here to make sure that as minimum as possible was affected by those pipes that were destroyed. So I agree with you. Protection is what we do.
And now God needs to trust. Trust that we want to protect.
They trust. You're right. You're right. Protect.
Protecting the community through innovation.
Okay, so we'll put something together and not to have, lengthy, like I said, a bunch of bullets, exactly, we're not gonna, and something that hopefully is very simple and easy and everybody understands it. Like, you don't have to explain it, not we, it's you don't have to explain it, it's there, it's very clear.
Can I ask one question?
Of course.
Is there any terminology or anything that we could use that would help our public understand that we are our own entity and not like part of the city and not, like, cause we get
Yeah, it's
confused with that a lot. Is there anything that can be used that singularly identifies us as our own, not attached to anybody else? No?
I'm sure there is, public education.
A
Yeah.
proprietary district?
Maybe.
I think you're onto something though, because it's very hard to tell the public you're a special district. They do not know what that is.
Well, one, your
Once
experience,
you said
suggestion,
DWA,
Yeah.
everybody in Palm Springs thought you were in Palm Springs.
Yeah,
You don't
City
have
of
the
Palm
same name
Springs
yet.
Water, yeah, I mean,
one,
The number of customers, sorry, Russ, go ahead. Sorry.
one of the things that I have advocated for is changing all of our letterheads, all of our business cards, all of our logos on our website of saying Riverside County Mission Springs Water District, rather than just Mission Springs Water District. It identifies us as a special district for the Riverside County. And that's always lost. In fact, we even have certain city councilmen who were thinking in terms of us being part of the city.
Mhm.
And I'm saying, well, we're a county water district, don't, you know, and sometimes I think that just getting that information out and being on our website, every time you bring up the Mission Springs Water District website, it says Riverside County Mission Springs Water, I think would go a long way to helping the public get used to that concept, that we're not a municipal water district.
Yeah, the branding is interesting, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of public education through your website, social media, communicate that to create that distinction.
Since I've gotten here, probably half of my ratepayer calls and problems that I've received have come through two different council members that were approached first, thinking that they were responsible for the water, and then those individuals would send those customers to me. And even when I talk to people, they're like, well, you know, we don't see you at the city council meeting, we don't know, or we're not city council. We're not part of the city.
I don't know if this will make you feel better or worse, but I'm gonna share it. So I worked for several water agencies in the Coachella Valley, and I also at one point ran the CV Water Counts program. And in all of those places, we did public polling. And I never, ever once had an accurate, like the poll never came back in an accurate way when we said, who is your water district? Not once. Everyone says Coachella Valley Water District, no matter where they are, right? And so that is just, it is a challenge, I would say, for not just all the water agencies, but all of the special districts and all of the smaller municipalities. I think CVAG struggles a little bit with their brand identity. I think it's, I mean, Desert Healthcare District struggles with it. So I definitely hear you.
Something,
What-
county or just Coachella Valley instead of, you know, associating specifically with the city.
I'm gonna get hung for this one, but when we have two board of directors showing up to the council meetings and the planning commission meetings, they're gonna, you know, the public is watching that. So they could very well misperceive that
Oh,
the
when you
two are
go.
together, yeah. When Amber goes to the,
But we're
Well,
sitting,
when I go
in-
to city council, I go as a resident, I'm not there as a member.
no, I understand that, but the other ones. I know
we're
you're
sitting in the audience, we're not up at the dais. So if somebody has that perception that we're there, on there, that's,
Well, they're connecting the two together, that's what we're talking about, how are they connecting us together with the city?
well, it goes deeper than just the appearance at council.
Yes, it does.
Lot. It's the way we're referred to in the media, the way we're referred to during meetings, talking about the desert hot spring, for example, and this is something that is opposite of what I think should happen, but we have won more awards for our best tasting water. You know, the category we're in is municipal drinking water, not county, municipal. And that reinforces that concept that we're part of the city.
Well, that could be one of your goals.
Yeah. I think we've moved into what would be a goal, but I do think it's important to capture as, you know,
And I'm
something.
sorry if I distracted.
Not at all, not at all, but I think, yeah, I mean, I think it's something that we can brainstorm. When we get to the SWOT analysis is like a perfect thing to chat through. And maybe we can talk through solutions then that are actionable.
The city of India went through that process because they were tired of getting confused with Coachella because of the Coachella Festival.
Right.
And so now, when you look at there, then you go and you see that in Indio. So, but they did it on purpose to show that they're not even related to the actual city, and it's their own, and the event is held at the city of Indio, for that reason.
Yeah.
But I know that it's very costly too, so.
Yeah, it's a major branding effort, but it doesn't mean it can't happen.
Right.
So, I was just curious.
We
Yeah.
serve the city, we don't run it. Is our love.
The new tagline.
We did. It goes both ways, though. I've had people asking me well, you work for the city, how come you're doing this?
Right.
Okay.
Actually, this is excellent discussion. So many of you share your ideas. That was fantastic. So we're gonna go to the next test. Where's your mission statement without looking at your notes?
I already said it, someone else.
Excellent. Got it. Perfect. This is an easier one. It's
It is an easier one.
much easier. Okay, very good. So now, yes, yeah, there you go. So, your mission, your mission is really, what do you do on a daily basis? What is my job, you know? So how do you capture that into something very simple sentence? What else? What the district does, its purpose, its existence, the what and the why.
I think it's a good one.
Yeah, and more people in this room knew that one than they knew.
Nice, nice. Okay, so what do you think? Do we explore the options, edit this a little bit, or what's the feeling here? Alex, you got something going?
No, honestly, I feel like that's pretty concise, direct, and to the point. It's exactly what we do.
It's exactly what we do.
How about over Lisa?
I like it.
We could add
Okay.
something in our mission.
David?
No, it's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
you know what this doesn't say is innovative.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing we've been talking about. So I was just sitting here trying to, you must be able to see the wheels. in motion.
Another P?
Yeah, put the rest.
How can we get innovation into that?
You just add through innovation and maybe end something else.
Through innovation and efficiency of something.
I think it's overcomplicating it. The mission, I feel like, is so concise that our vision could be how to accomplish our mission, and that's where we could go through innovation, but at the
I
end of the
agree, to
day,
have the 3 Ps,
it's
it's catchy.
hard to improve on it, I
We can
think.
make a song out of it.
That's your homework. I will honestly say that I tend to agree too. Hector and I went through these a lot in preparing for this workshop, and this is a very concise and clear mission statement. I think this is when you see mission statements that get too complicated and they add too many commas with too many other words, it is hard to really hone in on what it is. So the value of having a vision statement, a mission statement, and values is that they can build on each other. So, if innovation is important and we've really captured that in our values or our vision, it's okay that it's not, a word in the mission statement. And if we're comfortable with this, I think that's great.
That is great.
Is that a consensus?
I don't know, is it consensus?
That sounds, this is
See,
really
you
good.
got the room to agree.
Alright, day one.
Yes, awesome, all right. Yes.
I was gonna.
No, go. So, congrats, that was good. Okay.
One
All
day,
right.
yes.
Here's the next test. Okay, value statements, and then where do the employees see this once in a while?
It's in a lot of our offices.
Okay, who can say the values?
Or evaluations.
Yeah, the evaluation.
That was the answer.
Perfect. That's the answer.
So I think that's important to really clearly say. These words are the employee evaluation. right? So when employees are evaluated on their performance at this district, they are evaluated against these words. So when we're looking at this and we're thinking about whether or not these words make sense and the definitions of them make sense, you know, it's really important to be thinking about your job and how does this make sense? Do these words make sense? And does it make sense for our employees to be, their performance to be, you know, these things? So I just wanted to really underline that before we move through the process.
Yeah, this is impactful, and it's impactful, you know, for the employees, and because their performance is being measured against these words. So, maybe take the time, take a look at them, you know, and see, you know, do we need to edit, change, do they look good?
No,
I,
I agree. I think that the existing values are spot on,
Okay.
the way they're presented here.
I don't like servant attitude. I think putting something like customer focused or service oriented is a little more, I think, clear. Employees aren't servants. And so I think that's an antiquated word.
Antiquated to me, that you hit it on the head. I think that the people in general, when we lead with that statement, I think they may tend to kind of view the customer service and field technicians a little bit differently as far as what they can get away with, as far as how they treat our employees. So in that respect, I agree with Director Griffith. I think that we are all public servants. But I do not necessarily, I guess in a lot of weddings, it's the same way, right? Women don't want to say anymore in their vows that they will obey, you know, that kind of thing. I just think that it's a little bit concerning as far as what impression that may be giving our customers as to how they can treat our employees.
Maybe we could change that word to service attitude.
I would like to hear from the employees on how they would like it worded, because they're the ones that are out there.
Adam, what do you think?
I need to let that fester for a moment.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, I never liked that service attitude. I had to have someone explain it to me, and then, you know, a servant attitude. I mean, we're public employees. We're, like, my note here is selflessness. We act solely in the terms of the public interest, but I don't know that that needs to be a bullet point.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Chris, in the fact that it should not be necessarily a word, but something we live by. That's one of the things that I like to do as a manager, as a director, is having to go out and take a payment is never going to be beneath me. That is something we just have to do to make things keep running better. From typing a letter, you know, to whatever it is, we all have to have that attitude. Otherwise, you can easily, gonna have, sorry, can't do that, it's not my job. And that's the worst thing that we can do as a district. As opposed to, we have a lot of people in this room right now that when you go to them and you say, I need this, they will tell you, what do you need, when do you need it by, and what do you want it to look like? So that is perfectly, so we're living by those, not everyone, but I agree with that, but, you know, it should not necessarily be placed in here, but that's basically what a lot of people do.
But I do like that service oriented. I think it captures not only the external customer, but also among ourselves, when we need help from each other, the support that we could be evaluated over. Sometimes, Marian, 101 times a year, you need somebody to help you out with an event or something or other. So it would be nice to have that as a value that we are measured against.
What about instead partnership?
Did I get this?
What if we changed it to instead partnership?
Well, let's go back to the fact that we want to be separate from the city.
Partnering with our customers, partnering with our ratepayers, partnering, yeah, you could use that in different ways for sure. But yeah, just simply partnership would probably add to additional. The only comment I had was I'd like to see it start with accountability. I'd like to maybe do alphabetical.
Okay.
That's one thing I have out of my mind. I'd like to start with accountability because I think that leads to every single aspect of all the other things, is that each individual person be accountable for their own actions, what they choose to do, what they don't choose to do. And anyway, I just think that accountability is number one.
So you sort of just got there, but can you tell me how you would define accountability?
I can give you an example.
Okay.
When I first started working for a group of doctors, one doctor was ex-military and he was kind of intimidating, right? And everyone was kind of scared of him. And it was in my first week in that department, and he had gotten into a bit of an argument with one of the transcriptionists because she had made a mistake that she knew she had made and she didn't tell him about it. And it caused a patient to get a scan on the wrong part of his body. And so he had come to the desk and he says, I just want to tell you this once. We're all human, mistakes happen. If you do not take accountability for making a mistake and come to me immediately so we can repair it, there will be consequences to pay and you will not like them. That's the kind of accountability I mean. Like if you make a mistake, be willing to admit it, not just as an organization with each other, but as an organization with our public. In my opinion, we made a mistake with our meters. That's still, kind of on debate, right? That our customers all felt that it was a serious mistake and we didn't take accountability, we continued to fight. And I think that hurt our customer service department's ability to regain that trust because we never took that accountability. So anyway.
So my giant smile right now is you've got to the word I wanted you to get to, which was trust. So I was like, I keep beating you until you got it, but you got there. So here we have said the trust is in our vision, right? That's what we want. And we cannot have trust if we're not accountable. So now we've tied them together, right? So that is exactly where we're trying to go here. So I think that's a great way to talk about it. So maybe how we define accountability is, our trust in each other and the community's trust in us being earned through our actions. Does that seem sort of on target with what you all mean when you say accountability or you think accountability?
Yeah, but one of the problems that we currently have with these particular values is that you ask one supervisor what it means to them and it's one thing, and you ask a different supervisor and it means different, and they apply rules very differently.
Yeah.
Even though you're talking about the same exact thing, so we have to find a way to make sure that.
Define it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That both know exactly the same thing that it's expected.
Yeah, so that's interesting that you say that because we looked at your employee evaluation and they're defined. These words are defined in that evaluation. So do you think that is not coming across, or maybe the definitions aren't what we need them to be?
They are not coming across.
Okay.
So you think it's more of a communication issue, or do you think it's more they need to be redefined?
I think it's, I've been here 25 years and I think I know better than what's on the paper, and I'm gonna trust some employees more than I trust others, and I'm gonna continue to do that because that's what I was taught, and I didn't.
And that's normal.
No, that is not normal. No, but that's where the difference is between someone who doesn't care about what's specifically in writing to someone who's gonna follow it.
You think they need to take a test on it? Are they being tested though? So.
No,
They're
they're also getting evaluated, but there's a sense of, a lot of times people just complacency
So it's a
and.
communication issue more so.
Yeah, I don't think it's because it's not being defined. I think that different people put in their own.
Perspective.
Yes.
So I've heard it said as in, I got my own set of values.
Yeah.
Kind of earlier when I was saying, having something that we're all on the same page on, we can't have competing values. That's the idea of going across the ocean in our own, you're if the general manager's at the helm of that ship, can't look over and have that guy that has his own set of values just sit there competing with it. That doesn't work.
So I just now digested the servant.
All right.
So maybe keep the servant part, but have it servant leadership, where it's a leadership style that prioritizes the growth, well-being, and empowerment of its employees or, the community. Right, because then you still have your public servant, but you also have leadership rather than just servant. That kind of that's the grading, where servant and leadership, that still has you serving the community, but you're also leading as the water district, and as the people who are right.
Okay.
Water's a priority.
There's a whole lot of things in servant leadership.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
I would
It's
like to,
powerful.
I would like to change, when it says servant attitude to just putting service on there, drop the attitude. And the whole thing. Because we tell people to drop the attitude all the time. And I mean, you've already got the word like excellence, and that's a self-explanatory adjective. Service, I think, is as well. And I think that fits in nice with the list that we've got here. So,
I'd like to also add like innovation to here, because I think one thing
yeah,
that
that's good.
in a performance evaluation, I'd like to be able to point out an innovative or something that somebody's done that's above and beyond an idea they brought to the table. And I think if we had that in our evaluations, that would give them a place for that.
What about teamwork?
We're hearing, okay, so we got on the servant attitude, a lot of different ideas. The servant leadership, there's so much on that.
Don't use the word servant.
Yeah.
So servant leadership is actually a very specific thing that you can be trained on. Like you can go get like a certificate in servant leadership, and it's like how to manage downs. And so I think that is a little bit loaded, like.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot there. But what it does says here is consider the impacts of actions, okay? You have to lead, even if you're just leading yourself. You know, what are your actions, your decisions that happening, impacting the community or organization?
Self-motivated, that's part of our job description, is to be self-motivated. Yeah.
So we got servant attitude, lots of good ideas, adding innovation. There was another one, adding.
Teamwork.
And teamwork.
Resilience.
Again, you're using the word servant. We thought we were gonna get rid of that.
We get rid of that, yes.
All right.
Well,
Service.
Service.
There's a lot of ads. I think, maybe a removal. Excellence seems kind of like a given and a way to almost judge the other categories. You want to do each of these categories in an excellent way. I don't know if excellence necessarily has to be its own.
Might be a little redundant.
Yeah, I have in my notes, Ivan, professionalism, excellence, put them together.
Okay, that makes sense. Because remember, this is gonna go to evaluation, so you have 20 categories to evaluate. For me, it'll be challenging.
Well, and I think, so it's going, I emphasize how important it is that it's in the evaluation, but I also think, what we're really trying to get at, and I know this is gonna sound like a pie in the sky thing, but these are the words that we want people to think about when they think about Mission Springs, right? So if we're all embodying these words and being excellent or excelling in these things, then over time, our public and our customers start to associate us with those things. And so I think that, having some of these words brought forward and redefined, and then really targeting them in with some of the things that we've been talking about all day are the ways we get there.
Well, removing things from the list, like you said, respect and professionalism, respect kind of feels like a subset of professionalism. If you're professional, you can also be respectful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So carry yourself.
I'd like to keep it at maybe like 5 and just have it something that's
simple.
real.
I'm right there with you.
So combining excellence into professionalism, I guess we're at 1. Is there another one we want to combine or others? Yes.
I did, accountability, professionalism. I think integrity kind of goes with accountability if you really do it. Service, and then I would change stewardship to leadership. Because if you're thinking about, if these are the values the community is gonna think about for us, a lot of them don't even know what a steward is. I think leadership is something, if we're talking about wanting to be a premier provider or the leader, and you want to get that out there as much as possible.
I think that's what the innovation could fall under, leadership.
Yeah, leadership and innovation.
Yeah. And the same with, like protecting our resources, your groundwater protection can fall under leadership as well.
Yeah.
So Katie, put you on the spot.
Yeah.
What do we have?
Okay, so I think what we have is number 1, first in the line is accountability, then professionalism, then service, then leadership. Removal of the rest And that does sort of combine them. But I think what we have to do then is actually create definitions for those four that encompass some of the things that we talked about today.
Did you pick out innovation, because I was innovation was
I
one.
put it with leadership because that, but it could be
That's fine.
separate. I
No,
think
that's
that's a
okay.
good.
That's
Okay.
okay, no, innovation.
So we'll see if it works in the definition, and if it doesn't, we'll make it another one.
If you put L, the leadership 1 second, you could do
Laps.
L, like the L.
I was doing laps, which is not as exciting, right?
You wanna be on top of the L.
First, we'll call it lead.
Accountability, leadership, professionalism, and service. Outs.
We got 4. How's that sound?
I think that we have a better chance of getting employees involved and to understand them better if there's only 4.
Okay.
What I will say is though, you may now, if you were to adjust your evaluation, you might have to have multiple questions under each, because that's a pretty short eval. You just have 4 questions on it. But you know, if those are the 4 things that you're emphasizing, you can figure out how to work that in. You know, you have experts here who could do that.
And the values are interesting, because this is how you live every day. When you come here, this is how you live, your culture. It has a huge impact on the culture, so very important. Yes, sir. Okay, all right, very good. We're doing well.
Yeah, so we can do it. I said I wouldn't do it if we went past 3:30, but we're really trucking. So I feel like we could go into the SWOT analysis, but I will look to the board and to Brian. So the next thing is a big lift. We could try to pull it off here before 5 o'clock, or if you think that you have taxed your brain, we can also stop.
I've got other commitments too.
Okay. I don't-
That's a big area.
It's a big area, and here's my one caveat about it is I can't do half of it today and half of it another day. It has to happen all at
Do it all at
once.
once.
Okay.
And also, we've been here since 1, so.
Okay, fair enough. So let's just talk a little bit about next steps and what's gonna happen. Today was awesome. I mean, this went great. So thank you all so much for participating and for speaking up and for sharing your insights. I think this went really, really well. So thanks, first of all, for all of that. So the next thing that we're gonna do coming in a couple of weeks is a SWOT analysis. And Hector talked about what that is. SWOT stands for strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So it's a big process. It's really how we get from the high level stuff we've been talking about today into like, what do we need to do? What do we need to address? What opportunities are out there that we want to capitalize on? So let me just, I'm gonna go, I think I included, yeah. So your homework is not you're gonna have homework every time you come here, by the way. I don't know if anyone warned you about that. But this one's the easiest one. I'm gonna go through SWOT, and then I'm gonna ask you just to be thinking about it. So as you go do your day-to-day job, maybe you'll go, hey, this seems like an opportunity, or hey, this seems like, you know, a threat that we need to be worried about. So this is how we sort of categorize those things, because I realize words like strength and opportunity might sound the same. It's a function of positive and negative, internal and external. So a strength is something we internally as a district have that's positive. So you can think of that as like, you know, we have really great staff, we have really highly qualified staff. That would be a strength. Easy example, but that is one. Conversely, a weakness is an internal negative. So maybe just to flip that, and I don't even know if this is true, most of our staff's about to retire. That's a weakness, right? We're gonna lose all this institutional knowledge. That's a big weakness we need to be aware of. Yeah, it's happening everywhere. That's why I knew to go to it. For external, that's where we have opportunities and threats. So an opportunity is an external positive. So there's a ton of grant funding out there. I don't know if that's, you know, let's just call it that, right? We have a project and there's tons of grant opportunities for that specific project. That would be an opportunity. And then a negative external is a threat. So that would be something like, there's gonna be a new regulation that's gonna mess up how we do this. Okay, so again, we're not gonna get into this today. It's a big process. And it is sort of the driver of what is gonna come out of the plan. But I am asking that over the next, is it like 2 weeks? 2 weeks.
It's November 21st.
Like a month. That should give you lots of time you know, try to have this in your head, try to have this in the back of your mind as you're doing your job and see if any of these things come to the forefront for you, so that when we get back together, we can really be really effective in our SWOT analysis. Yeah.
Just, for the date, is Thanksgiving week.
It is
A lot of
Thanksgiving
people's
week.
gonna be out.
It's the only date we could get all the board members available.
From
Between-
this group, who's going to be out of stuff?
I'm one of those, and I know.
I'm out.
Sorry.
You can hand in your
But, yeah.
homework.
You could hand in your homework now that you know it. In fact, I mean, if you're interested in having like one-on-one conversations with me about it, I would welcome that. We could set up a quick Zoom call and maybe chat through your thoughts on that if you want to do that. That way we don't miss out on capturing that.
So do your homework and then set up your appointment with her before you go on vacation.
Yes, and enjoy your vacation. Okay, so you will receive from us some, well, thank you, Cynthia, for taking our notes today, but we will turn this into some, what I'll call draft notes that try to capture our conversation today. Within that, you're gonna have a draft of a vision, mission, and values. We're probably not gonna get it exactly right? We're gonna pull from these conversations and try to draft them for you, but we'll have to revisit this again to make sure that we've really captured the conversation well today. So you'll be getting that as well. And so I think that's it, yeah? Yeah, are there any questions or comments, any feedback on the process today? Anything you wanna see different at the next workshop?
I think went well.
Thanks, me too. Thanks for your participation. Well, so are we. Thank you so much. Okay, so if you do have any thoughts that maybe you didn't want to share as a group and you want to contact us individually, please feel free to do that. And I really want to emphasize, we would not have been as successful today if you hadn't all been willing to speak up and engage. So thank you very, very much.
One last comment from me, and that is, it would appear that the board made the right decision.
Thank you.
We're really pleased with the work you've done.
Russ, you
Thank you so
wanna
much.
officially close the meeting?
Oh, yeah.
If there's nothing further, any comments, closing comments, anybody has? Meeting is adjourned.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
So do we want to leave